In the new World of Warcraft expansion, The War Within, many characters in Warcraft's story are getting the attention they deserve, and that includes Moira Tharzan, a character who's been a part of the game's lore ever since classic WoW, and she's played a huge role in Dwarvish history, and also has had an instance of practically breaking the fourth wall. But first, let's start from the beginning. Moira's born a baby. She's the daughter of Magni and Emhyr Bronzebeard, who are the king and queen of Ironforge. Her parents became the leaders of Ironforge after the War of the Three Hammers, a violent civil war between the three dwarvish clans that led to the Wildhammer dwarves fleeing to the hinterlands, the Dark Irons accidentally creating the Blackrock Mountain, summoning Ragnaros, and being enslaved by the Fire Lord, and the Bronzebeards won, so they secured Ironforge. Shortly after Moira was born, her mother was attacked by Frostmane trolls in Dunbarrow.
Feel the fury of the mountain!
Her last dying wish was for Magni to always be there for Moira, who would be the future leader of Ironforge. And he did that. Kind of. Magni loved Moira, and he trained her to be a warrior because being skilled in combat was a part of being a dwarven leader, much to her dismay. You see, King Magni was trying to shape Moira into something she wasn't, and deep down in Magni's heart, he believed that Moira could not rule Ironforge with the same ability as a man. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. A potion that helps support your focus, stress, immune defense, and gut health. This isn't an elixir of fantasy, but the convenient supplement drink AG1. I've been using AG1 for weeks now, and it's a great way to start your day and just might be the closest thing to a potion of supplements that you can consume in the real world. AG1 has 75 different vitamins that support your physical and mental health. And most important to me is that it supports you to have sustainable, healthy energy, so I'm not crashing in the middle of the day. All you have to do is fill the bottle up with water, add AG1, shake it, and it's ready to drink. But personally, I love to include it in my smoothies. You can give AG1 a try by clicking the link down below and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Thank you AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Cut the classic WoW, and the mayor of Lakeshire calls for aid from Ironforge against the invading Blackrock orcs in their lands. Moira volunteers to help and travels with 21 other guardsmen, but when venturing there, they're ambushed by Dark Iron dwarves and Moira is kidnapped. She's taken to Blackrock Mountain to the Shadowforge city and is escorted to King Emperor Dagran Tharzan. Moira was going to be used as a hostage once the Dark Iron dwarves launched their full-scale war against Ironforge.
Oh, that was a fun ride.
Let's get down to business then. Well, I'm listening.
But much to the Emperor's dismay, Moira did not give a flying dwarven f that she was kidnapped. Moira was witty, strong-willed, and totally unintimidated by the whole ordeal. And that left the Dark Iron Emperor love-struck. Eventually, the two confided in each other. Dagran explained how the Dark Iron dwarves were enslaved by Ragnaros the Fire Lord in the Molten Core, and how he desperately wanted to free his people. The one that got the Dark Iron clan in this situation in the first place was Dagran's father, so that both of them could relate to their daddy issues. Meanwhile, in Ironforge, King Magni Bronzebeard is freaking out. Rescuing Moira from her imprisonment is the top priority, and if they don't get her back, or even worse, if she's killed, it would lead to a complete sundering of the leadership of Ironforge and its royalty. You 5 adventurers, go to Shadowforge City and free my daughter, now!
Certainly.
Players go into the Blackrock depths, kill literally everybody, and take all of their stuff, and when they kill Emperor Dagran Tharzan...
Impudence! You'll die for this!
Moira refuses to leave. In fact, she's furious at the player characters for killing her husband, and also, oh yeah, she's pregnant. Oh yeah, and she also goes by Moira Tharazan now. Players return to Ironforge, and Magni assumes that his daughter was put under some sort of enchantment, that is, binding her to the mountain and her dead husband, you know, instead of admitting he's just a bad father. Meanwhile, Moira remained in Blackrock Mountain to continue her dead husband's dreams of freeing the Dark Iron clan from their enslavement to the Fire Lord. Moira reflected on how her husband had died and the utter tenacity of 5 random adventurers who killed everything in sight and stole all of their most powerful items. I mean, they even stole the robe from her dead husband's corpse for the mountain's sake. Suddenly, a brilliant plan popped into her head. Spread word to the Alliance and Horde that there were riches beyond their wildest dreams in the Molten Core. Items like the Mage Blade, Vendor Strike, the Eye of Sulfuros, the bindings of the Windseeker, it was all there for the taking. The plan worked, and 40 adventurers rampaged through the Molten Core and banished Ragnaros and his minions, all in the name of fat loot. This isn't me making it up, this is actual lore that is in the Chronicle books. Moira had the right to rule the Dark Irons, but after freeing them from their enslavement, she had earned their loyalty as Queen Regent of the Dark Iron clan.
You stand before Moira, Queen Regent of the Dark Iron clan. Watch your tongue.
But her genius tactics didn't stop there. She sent spies to the Horde to tell them about the rogue members of their faction, the Dark Horde, who were colluding with the Black Dragonflight in the upper spires of the mountain. Horde players go in, kill all of the Blackrock orcs and dragons, and boom! Now the mountain is fully under the control of the Dark Iron clan. The expansions, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King pass, and during that time, Moira has her son, Dagran Tharazan II. Before the Cataclysm expansion, all of Azeroth, including the dwarven lands of Khazmodan, were suffering the detrimental effects of natural disasters, and the elements were all out of whack. King Magni was motivated to find a solution to stopping these disasters before more innocent dwarves died. Deep within Old Ironforge, Magni had an ancient Titan tablet, and upon activating it, he could commune with Azeroth and understand her troubles. The ritual involved gathering these herbs 3: Mountain Silver Sage, Black Lotus, and Ghost Mushroom. And with a pinch of soil and words spoken with intent, King Magni shall be able to become what he once was. He shall return home and become one with the mountain. Within me is the earth itself. We are one. I am of it, and it is of me. I listen for the mountain's reply. The ritual was a lot more, literal than what King Magni had expected, and he was transformed into a solid diamond statue. And the shocked onlookers assumed that the leader of the Bronzebeard clan, ruler of Ironforge, was dead.
Danger approaching! Heads up! Everyone! Get in here! Everyone! Get in here!
It didn't take long for Moira to strike after her father's death. Not only had Moira just claimed the leadership of the Dark Iron clan, but since she was Magni's daughter, she also claimed leadership of the Bronzebeard clan and all of Ironforge. No dwarf in history had as much political power as she had now. And it almost makes you think, did she get kidnapped by the Dark Iron dwarves intentionally to achieve the power she has now?
I dismiss you.
See ya.
Queen Regent Lord Moira Tharazan takes the entire city of Ironforge hostage. During this time, Prince Anduin Wrynn is trapped in the city for a short while, exchanges pleasantries with Moira, and eventually escapes to go tell his father, King Varian Wrynn, of the current situation in Ironforge. Suffice to say, he was pissed. The world is falling apart in a series of natural disasters, there is a giant black dragon of death and destruction, and the Alliance is fighting the Horde over resources all over the world, and you're telling me that Ironforge, the main manufacturer of weapons and siege vehicles, has been taken hostage? No. The King of the Alliance will not stand for this.
Well, of course I've got a complicated relationship with my da. Hard enough to get along with any parent, let alone one made out of freaking diamond.
Your defenses are nothing.
Varian shows up at Ironforge with like 18 SI-7 operatives with the intention of executing Moira.
Charge!
But before he could do so, Anduin convinces his father that it would be much more effective if Moira was guided to be a better leader. You know, killing her would lead to a power vacuum that would lead to yet another civil war between the Dwarven clans, and the rest of the Alliance would probably have to get involved in it.
You betrayed the Alliance. I will choose to overlook that.
So instead of killing Moira, Varian concedes that she can remain the leader, but she must adhere to the opinions of a newly created advisory council who have the same political power as the Queen Regent Lord. This group would be called the Council of Three Hammers, which included Moira, Muradin Bronzebeard, and Falstad Wildhammer. But wait, in the Cataclysm beta, it's Moira, Muradin, and Curdin Wildhammer. What's going on here? Well, during BlizzCon 2010, during the lore Q&A, a passionate lore enthusiast demands answers.
I just finished reading The Shattering yesterday, and I noticed something. It said that Falstad Wildhammer was going to be on the Council of Three Hammers, but in the beta it's Curdrin Wildhammer, and Falstad is not in the game at all. What happened to him?
Isn't Falstad dead? From Day of the Dragon? No?
No, he survived, and in fact, he was the leader of Airy Peak and Vanilla WoW through Wrath of the Lich King.
Right, of course. Right. Yeah, Alex, what's up with that?
Thanks for pointing that out. We're gonna get that fixed.
Thank you.
Bet.
This BlizzCon attendee was affectionately named Redshirt Guy, and this becomes an infamous moment in BlizzCon and Warcraft history. A couple months after BlizzCon, the short story Fire and Iron comes out and explains how Curdin Wildhammer was the original member of the Council of Three Hammers, but the leadership was later passed to Falstad Wildhammer because he felt like he could be a better leader. And in this short story, there's even a reference to the Redshirt Guy, where it says, one of the younger historians was a short, Wildhammer dwarf dressed in a bright red tunic, a very thorough fact-checker by all accounts. And he also has an NPC dedicated to him in the Ironforge throne room as well. Okay, Redshirt Guy tangent over. So, during the Cataclysm, Ironforge is led by the Council of Three Hammers, but it's a pretty strenuous relationship between the three leaders. During Cataclysm questing, players deal with Dark Iron rebels who are not loyal to Moira and are attacking the areas around Ironforge. Spoiler alert, this won't be the last time this happens. During the Mist of Pandaria, the Zandalari trolls have allied with the Mogu and are trying to take over all of Azeroth, and somehow, someway, they manage to travel to Dun Morrow and ally with the Frostmane trolls to summon a large, unnatural snowstorm. King Varian shows up and thinks that if he helps the dwarves with their troll problem, that they would return the favor by sending aid to his campaign in Pandaria. But when he arrives to help, none of the dwarves even show up. You see, tensions between the Council of Three Hammers was so high that they were worried that if one of them left the city to deal with the trolls, the other clans would take advantage of this and take their place within the city. And there was just one council member brave enough to help Varian with these troll problems.
This is where my agents tracked the Zandalari.
Shimmer Ridge. I know it well. The Frostmane trolls breed and plot atop that snow-blown mesa.
I can only imagine what foul business the Zandalari have with them. It's heartening to see you here, Moira. You have my thanks.
And you have mine, Varian. Your words rang true in the throne room. The dissension within the Council of Three Hammers must come to an end. We will prove our loyalty to the Council, Ironforge, and the Alliance here, today, and with our own blood. I'll see you when it's done, King of Stormwind.
All of this lore happens during an instant scenario, and players help defeat Frostmane trolls, free some captured dwarves, and end the unnatural snowstorm plaguing Dun Moreau.
Well fought. I see the Dark Irons are as formidable as ever.
That they are, King Varian. And at the service of the Alliance, I might add.
Everyone, get in here!
For that, I'm glad. The Bronzebeards and Wildhammers will regret not having been here to share in your glory.
Better they're grateful for the clansmen spared death on this miserable hillock. We sought to protect and impress, not to shame.
Well, you've done just that. Come, let us return to Ironforge and announce your victory to the Council.
The continuation of Moira's story, just before the Legion expansion, is found in the comic Fault Lines. In the comic, Moira is lamenting about her past to the statue of her father. How he always wanted a son, how Moira could never live up to his expectations. If only he saw her for who she was now, Queen Regent Lord and founding member of the Council of Three Hammers. Suddenly, after 4 years, Magni awakes from his stasis. The citizens of Ironforge are left in a panic. If Magni were to retake the throne and abolish the council, Dwarven society would once again fall into political unrest. But Magni assured them that he was not interested in reclaiming his royalty. Azeroth herself had stirred him awake once again. He was her speaker, and it was his duty to tell his people of the demonic invasion that was soon to come. Quick! Everybody, pre-order the new World of Warcraft expansion right now! Later on, Moira and Magni meet outside the gate of Ironforge, and he reveals that he's been watching Moira this whole time during his stasis, and how he could not be prouder of seeing Moira turn into the leader that she was today. He had failed her as a father, but if the 3 rival dwarvish clans could live under one roof, then perhaps she could forgive him as well. During the Legion expansion, Moira plays a part in the Priest Order Hall. Because, oh yeah, she's a priestess. I guess she learned to wield holy power when she was the Empress of the Dark Irons, but that really isn't mentioned at all during her story. Anyway, yeah, she's a priestess that can wield holy and shadow magic, because balancing of 2 powers is thematic to her political power, I guess. So between the Legion expansion and Battle for Azeroth, there's the Before the Storm book. And in this book, Moira mentions how the tensions between the Council of Three Hammers is a lot less tense nowadays, and Magni, Speaker of Azeroth, shows up and starts screaming about the wounds all over Azeroth. But also, oh yeah, check it out, Magni, you have a grandson now. During the Battle for Azeroth, Dark Iron Dwarves finally become an allied race. During the questline, players must venture to the Firelands to recharge the Dark Iron's magical anvil, and there they discover the cult of Ragnaros, Dark Iron Dwarves who are trying to summon the Fire Lord once again. And after this questline, the Dark Iron Dwarves become a playable race. Finally. Yippee! Now in the War Within, Magni, Moira, and her son, who's now all grown up, are venturing to Khazil-Gar, because Azeroth has stopped speaking to Magni and they need to find out why, along with introducing themselves to the new Earthen Dwarves in this expansion. One of the reasons why I love Moira's story is because it's pretty rare that we see antagonistic characters in the Horde of the Alliance that are fighting for their own faction for their own personal gain. Well, except for that one. And that one. Okay, antagonistic characters that fight for their own faction in the Alliance. When there are opportunities to do this, I think it could be used as a great method of storytelling because you're able to see a character's thoughts, feelings, goals, and aspirations written on their sleeve, and how they're willing to stop at nothing for what they're after. It's a breath of fresh air when most NPCs in the game are kinda just there to guide you to the next objective and to kill the big bad villain. Before I end this video, let me just bring up something totally random that I can't believe nobody has ever mentioned before. Why is there a character in World of Warcraft and Overwatch who are both named Moira, both have red hair, Both are Scottish, and both use glowing yellow and dark purple magic. Has anybody else noticed this? Why am I the only one talking about it?